Okay, great. Well, hi everybody. I'm Warm Ham, and welcome to Ynglet. This is a quirky little experimental platformer that came out earlier this year. It was developed by Nipless, who's a Danish developer, also made the games Within a Deep Forest and Knit Stories. Those are his best known works. This is a wonderful little game. Took him, I think, a little over 8 years to make and release, and you can definitely see the attention to detail in the art, especially. So I'm very excited to show this off to you all. I think we're ready to get started. Wonder what this game is? Same. I don't know what I'm playing. We'll find out together. All right. I think we're ready to go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Begin. Alright, so welcome to Ynglet. What's an Ynglet, you might ask? I have no idea. Maybe we'll find out as we go. So this is a really cool game where it's kind of a platformer without platforms, I guess is the best way to describe it. Instead of platforms, we have these bubbles that we pass through. It has a jellyfish with a cool tail behind us. So this is the intro stage. We're just kind of getting used to the controls, moving around. Eventually we'll get a dash. And this is 100%, so we're going to be collecting all those triangular shaped stars. There's 33 of them in the game. We call them in the community Doritos. So if you hear me refer to those star-shaped things as Doritos, that's what I'm talking about. We're trying to get a whole bag of Doritos collected by the end of the run. That's kind of the mission here. And the basic story behind this game is, so it takes place in Copenhagen, Denmark, and what happened was one day we were just minding our own business, and then all of a sudden a meteor struck our house and sent all of our friends flying all over Copenhagen, Denmark. So now we have to go find our friends in Copenhagen. So it's really cool. All the levels in this game are based off of like actual locations that you can visit in Copenhagen, Denmark. Yeah. You know how they do like the shine get thing? You know, we can kind of do like the Dorito get every time I get a Dorito. People are feeling that. Yeah, so that's the first level right there, just kind of an intro stage. You'll notice in a couple of these levels I have to wait for my friend to make it to the level exit, so I might just wait around a little bit. That's not me just killing time. There's a function behind that. Oops. I'm gonna undo that spot. All right, so now we have our dash, and it's just a little intro to our dash here. Quick and easy level. And this is where the meat and potatoes of the game really gets started here. You'll notice too that like the way that the levels are laid out, you'll see I'll do a longer level interspersed with like a single screen level. So there's like these really cool like mini stages that teach you kind of mechanics throughout the game as you go. So that taught you the dash. This is Volby. This is kind of where the game really starts. You'll notice I can bounce off of those blue lines. I can enter these things called trains, which teleport me to different parts of the stage. And I can also ricochet off of red lines, like so. And the way my dash works, I can hold dash, and that allows me to set up my dash angle. Or I can tap dash, which allows for like basically an instant dash. So I'm going to be doing lots of tap dashes throughout the run. If I'm like feeling a little iffy about a dash angle, I might hold dash and just kind of make sure I have the right angle before proceeding. So if you see me kind of slowing down time, that's me setting up my dash. And that's Volby. A lot of these levels are over in a blink of an eye. So, which is really cool. It's a very fast-paced game. All right, we're up to our next mini stage here, Systems. This is one where I'm going to have to collect a few mini Doritos in order to reach the level exit, like so. Okay. Another thing too, you'll see there's a pink outline on the leftmost bubble there. So you can set checkpoints throughout the level by just stopping in a bubble. You can only do that in like the neutral colored bubbles, right? So I can't do them in bubbles of a different color, or bubbles that have certain mechanics to them. But in the neutral bubbles, I can checkpoint anywhere. I'll demonstrate that really quick just so you can see. I'll stop for 3 seconds, and now I have a new checkpoint there. So I can reset the checkpoint to go back to a previous part of the level, which allows for kind of fast level exits in certain stages. And now we're on Christiania. So the cool mechanic behind this one is that each time I dash, these blue and orange bubbles are going to toggle, whether they're active or inactive. So I kind of have to be doing some mental gymnastics as I go throughout this stage, just remembering like which bubbles are active. A little scary there. Okay, do some ricochets off these red lines to get up here. I'm going to try to do all these in one fell swoop. That's that to fell the curl. Oh god, that was almost scary. Deaths are super costly in this game, so if I fall to my death, like it can cost like up to a minute and a half in some cases. So I'm gonna do a couple of safety checkpoints throughout the run just to be super careful, to be marathon safe basically. I'm gonna do one right here just because this bounce here is a little bit risky. So yeah, in a typical like PB attempt, I wouldn't be doing some of these. Oh no, I'm out of dashes. See, this is why we safety checkpoint. You know, in a typical PB attempt, I wouldn't do some of these safety dashes, or safety checkpoints, but yeah, in the interest of marathon safety, we're gonna do some safety checkpoints. Okay. And that's Christiania. Okay. First, like, kind of scary level down. This game gets pretty hard. It's a short game, but there's a lot of tricky levels in it, especially towards the end. This is Sparken. I'm gonna try to pronounce some of the level names, in some cases without much success, because I'm not Danish, but I will try my best. So Sparken just kind of introduces you to kind of how to use blue and red lines to your advantage. Pretty quick and easy level. And now we're going to do Sidhavnen. I think this is probably the hardest stage in the entire run, because we don't do anything kind of as intended. We do lots of weird roundabout strategies in the interest of saving time, kind of starting right away. So I skipped a bunch of stuff off to the right there by doing that route. Now I'm going to do kind of a cheeky little dash here with a well-timed angle. Got it. So that skips me having to go down there, taking a train up here. Okay. I'm going to checkpoint for safety here, because we aren't going to be touching another neutral bubble for a second. So I want to be careful. Okay, we're going to try to get all these mini Doritos again, kind of like before. There we go. Got it. Get the big boy. And this is kind of a scary moment here. I'm going to dash over this train. So if I were to enter that train, it'd be kind of costly. It would set me back a few seconds, but we got the Dorito on the other side of that train, and we are done with this stage. I'm going to reset the checkpoint back to almost the start. I did do a safety checkpoint. So we're going to fall back down here towards the beginning of the level, and that is Sidhavnen. So far, so good. Yeah, we're a really small community. There's just a handful of us running this game at the moment, so it's a lesser-known indie game that dropped this year, so I definitely recommend if you're looking for a quick, relatively accessible precision platformer to pick up for a speedrun, this is an excellent candidate for that, just to plug the game. We do have a Discord. If you're interested, it's on our speedrun.com page. Alright, end plug. That's Bella Center, the shortest stage in the game. We just do a couple of dashes through the blue lines. This stage teaches you that you can indeed dash through blue lines, which is helpful to know in some cases, especially in the later stages. And now we're going to go to Vesterbro. So kind of a cool thing about this game is that you'll notice as we progress through the levels, it starts to get darker and darker. So now this is like our sunset stage. We're going to be getting into some nighttime levels here in a second. This is a pretty straightforward one. We're just going to take kind of the intended route for most of it, just taking all these trains. I'm going to take my time here and just make sure I've got good angles for these mini Doritos. That's a scary moment, very costly if I miss that. But we got it. We're in there, quote unquote. Okay, we'll grab this next Dorito here. We're gonna hop over here, collect our egg friend. The way I describe this game, it really sounds silly. It's a very trippy kind of game in that way. All right, at the end of the stage, the level exit's a little bit set back, so I have to dash up here. It's kind of a funny gotcha moment, right? If I were to not dash there at the end, I would be all the way back at the start of the stage. And that is Vesterbro. All right, next up is Clevermarken, another single screen stage. This one's kind of interesting. I'm going to I guess I'll show you it when we enter it. I'm going to simultaneously ricochet off the red line and then pass through the blue line like that to grab this on the other side, and then we're done. Again, you blink and it's over. When things go well, this game this game goes really quickly. And now we're going to go into the nighttime stages next, starting with Kestrel, which I'd say has a real banger of a soundtrack. Cool thing about the music in this game is that the soundtrack is kind of procedurally generated, so every time you enter a bubble and enter a train, the music changes a little bit, which I think is a really cool part of this game. It's part of the reason why this game took so long to develop, actually, is because a lot of care was taken towards making the soundtrack a really dynamic and responsive kind of experience. So the cool thing about this stage is that each time I dash, the bubbles will gradually disappear. So I dash here, you'll see, if I were to dash again, they disappear. So I do have to be mindful of how many dashes I've done. You'll also see those bubbles that shoot me out introduced in this stage. So those are like really cool bubbles that we can use to get some momentum going as we exit them. And I'm going to checkpoint here. This is a required checkpoint on the run, just to reset the bubbles here. There's no way around that as far as we know currently. Maybe with a little bit of strat finding we can finesse that. Okay, I'm going to pop down here, and this is kind of a cool skip coming up that involves a really big bounce. So we're going to get a big bounce here, pop up here right to the Dorito. Now I'm going to pass through this blue line once my dash resets. And see if we get the... just missed the blue line up top, but we're fine. So ideally, if I get the blue line bounce there, it just kind of skips me right over to this section, but that's fine. Not a huge deal. More of a fancy optimization than anything. These are cool, like, we call them washing machine bubbles. They kind of just send you looping around them as you enter them, which is kind of cool. And our friend is right up here. Okay, this is another one of those stages where we just have to wait for them. I'm gonna show them the way, and then we will just twiddle our thumbs until they get to the level exit. And we're actually quickly approaching the end of this run. It's a quick one. Casually, this game takes like 2 to 3 hours to beat. The speedruns are about, on average, like 20 to 25 minutes RTA. So it's a quick one. It's a quick game. I didn't mention too, I'm playing on the challenging difficulty. There's 4 difficulties in this game. Challenging is the default. There's also a 2 difficult difficulty, which is even harder than this. It just has fewer bubbles and lines that you can use. We think that it actually might be a little bit slower than challenging. Because you can kind of build up momentum with challenging difficulty just by bouncing off of other lines and bubbles and things like that. But yeah, there is a 2 difficult difficulty, which is a step above this, that you can unlock with subsequent replays of the game, which is kind of cool. Alright, we're entering Tornby now. This stage is a spooky one. I'm going to do a couple of safety checkpoints here, probably. And it starts off with a bang, so I'm going to do a tricky strat here. Did I get it? I got it, great. Let's skip some stuff off to the left. So far, so good. So the gimmick with this one is that each time I ricochet off of the red lines, kind of a variation on the Christiania mechanic, every time I ricochet off the red lines, the orange and blue bubbles are going to toggle. So kind of a trickier version. of what we were doing in Christiania. I'm going to fall here, hopefully not to my death. Okay, phew, scary. So those bubbles disappear as you pass through them. That's a fun new thing that gets introduced in this stage. Just for safety, I'm gonna do a checkpoint here. Just because falling down here can cost some time. Like so. Yeah, we'll just do it this way, that's fine. Just some light checkpoint spamming, it's fine. It's fine. Alright. Overall, pretty good Tornby so far. We're entering the end of the stage, oh no! Jinxed it. It's fine. Not super consequential. This were a PB attempt though, it'd probably be GG's. Alright, so we're gonna do some fancy stuff here. I'm gonna ricochet off of these boxes to get all these mini Doritos. If I were to enter one of those boxes, it would reset all of the mini Doritos, and I'd have to do that whole thing over again, so thankfully we got that first try, which is awesome. Okay, and we're going to bounce off to the edge of the stage here. We're going to get a couple of really precise dashes off of that red line, and there's our friend. Okay, now we just get to float to the end, and that is Tornby. Just gonna pop in here. Alright, we have one more mini stage and then one more big stage. The big boy. Nuremberg. That's a really tough one. Hopefully it goes okay. We'll see what happens. Alright, up we go to Ref, and this is our last mini stage here. Another tricky one, if I enter any of the bubbles here, all of the orbs reset and I have to do the whole thing over again, so hopefully we don't pass through any of the bubbles here. I'm going to reset that because I messed up. I'm going to bounce off of the blue lines here to get all the orbs. Okay, got it. The funny thing about this stage is if you do it on too difficult difficulty, it just adds more of the bubbles that you can potentially pass through, which makes it, like, way harder. Alright. Here we go. Off to Nuremberg. This is our last stage here. The Big Kahuna. Wish me luck. Alright, so this kind of summarizes everything we've done so far. It introduces a lot of the mechanics we've already been exposed to. Starting with the big sequence break there's a bunch of stuff that we can do up to the top of that stage at the start that I skipped. We're getting a very precise dash off of that red line. Okay, gonna YOLO it here a little bit. Get that. Okay, whoa, spooky, spooky, spooky. We're good. Okay. Now we're going to do kind of some quick dashes off of these red lines to ricochet. I'm going to checkpoint here for safety. Then we're going to go up to get this Dorito up top here. Okay. One more dash for good measure. Okay. Oh, I missed it. That's fine. Not a big deal. See, the nice thing is that, you know, if I hadn't set the checkpoint there, we'd be back at the start of the stage, so... Shouts out to Marathon Safety. Alright, do another checkpoint here because we're not going to be touching a neutral bubble for a long time after that one. Okay, so we're going to collect all these guys. Again, if I touch ground, I have to do the whole thing over again. Good. I'm going to skip some blue lines. Oops, messed that up. Try this again. I'm going to skip some blue lines below this section, which are really slow to take. So instead we're just going to pop up over here like so. And this is probably the hardest strat in the run, maybe. Those are the blue lines I was talking about. Well, that's fine. That's okay. This is typical Nuremberg stuff, to be honest. Alright, let's try this again. I'm gonna try this one more time. Take a quick dash here. Okay, good. We got it that time. Gonna do two more precise dashes here. Got it. And I'm gonna check in on this bubble here just for safety. Okay. And we're nearly at the end here. Just a couple of tricky more obstacles for us to clear. Alright, last Dorito, folks. Here we go. This is for all the marbles. Oh, uh-oh. We saved it. Okay. Oh! I saved it! Oh my god! Wow, okay, I was pretty sure I was dead there, but I just barely got a dash up to that blue line and reset my dash. Okay, that was a little scary. Just a mild heart attack happening at the end of the run. And that is essentially the end of it. We are going to just make it to the level exit here, and time will come up soon. I'll give the signal when. That's the worst of it right there. We made it through. So we're going to enter this last level exit, then actually go back to the overworld for a second, and then enter one more stage, which is effectively the final cutscene of the game. So yeah, this is Ynglet, folks. This is it. Really super cool indie title. I think it's like $5 on Steam too. So if you're looking for a game kind of on the cheaper side of things, it's well worth the $5 in my humble opinion. And time is going to come up right about now. So we will watch this cutscene for a second and just make sure that I got all 33 Doritos. So we have returned back to our lovely house with all of our friends, restoring beauty to the world, etc., etc. Thanks for all the Doritos, it really helps me out. Thanks for the GGs too. Yeah, I can't recommend this game enough. It's really captured my speedrunning attention this year in a pretty significant way. And it's very fun to optimize too and just play around with strats and see what you can do. There's still a lot for us to improve, I think, in this category. And that is all 33 Doritos. So we get a special cutscene at the end. But I will kick it back over to the folks running the marathon. SpeedGaming Live, thank you so much for hosting this wonderful game and for having me. And good luck to the rest of the runners throughout the marathon. Hope you all have some great runs ahead in the days to come.